is that this will take place in Indonesia. Yeah, because
What? Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sepidas sini. Apa khabar? Apa semua? Harap semuanya sihat, no? Jaga diri, jaga keluarga, jaga solat, okey? Jaga hati. Okey, kepada yang belum subscribe, ya? Perhatian ya, kepada yang belum subscribe, silalah subscribe dekat bawah, okey? Tekan butang merah tu, tekan sekarang, okey? Okay, baik. Hari ini saya nak buat satu video reaction tentang Peran. Peran tu dalam bahasa Indonesia, betul tak sebut peran? Ataupun peranan lah, peranan. Peran Malaysia dan Indonesia di Akhir Zaman by Syekh Imran Hussein. Okay, dia ada subtitle Indonesia. Okay, channel ni namanya Putar Tube. Kita putar. Kasih putar Halim. Okay, ada tak orang yang macam saya suka tengok komen dulu? Tengok komen dulu sebelum tengok video. Okay, mudah-mudahan Indonesia dipimpin pimpinan amanah dan faham dan mempraktikkan agama Islam. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Amin. InsyaAllah semoga pemimpin Indonesia adalah pemimpin yang baik. Okay, insyaAllah, amin. Okay, baik, tanpa berlengahkan masa, jom kita tengok video ni sama-sama. Semoga bermanfaat kepada semua orang. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
an Islamic response to the bogus monetary system. Okay? And in that lecture we said Israel cannot claim to be a Khilafah state unless Israel is using gold and silver as money. When that day comes that Israel brings back gold and silver as money, I hope I'm not alive. May Allah take me away from the world, because the shame and the disgrace will be too great for me, for my heart. My heart will burst. That these people have to bring back dinar and dirham, while our people were eating biryani and going home to sleep. The shame and the disgrace will be too great. So I ask in that lecture that all those who hear my lecture, go and ask your scholars of Islam, wherever you can meet them. Even if you can't meet them in person, you can send an email to them and ask them politely so. We don't see this money in the Quran and Sunnah now. The money we are now using, is it halal or is it haram? And we don't want a private answer. We want an answer that we can publish. Okay? So you put some pressure on them.
So Syekh Imran Hussein ni mula-mula cakap pasal Israel kan. Maksudnya Israel takkan jadi negara khilafah. Saya tak faham sangat. Kalau saya tak faham, saya cakap saya tak faham. Okay? Dia kata dia harap dia tak berada lah zaman di mana Israel gunakan emas sebagai wang. Okay, kita kan guna duit kertas kan sekarang. So lepas tu dia cakap juga, disuruh kita fikir sama ada duit yang kita guna sekarang ni adakah halal ataupun haram, duit kertas tu halal ke haram. Suruh kita tanya para alim ulama. Okay, tu apa yang saya faham lah. Okay, get it. Saya nak educate diri saya. Saya tak berapa pandai sangat. Tak apa, saya belajar. Okay. Harap saya faham benda ni.
If they say we don't know, you can ask them, and how long will you take? We want an answer. You can't remain silent forever. No. Okay? In the meantime,
alright,
if it is possible to have money which is redeemable in gold, like Ahmad Sukarno attempted in Indonesia, that's why they overthrew him, that the Indonesian rupiah will have been redeemable in gold, and you could go take it to to some office.
Oh, maksudnya Pak Sukarno memang nak orang Indonesia tak guna duit kertas, nak guna duit emas. Macam itulah Pak Sukarno. Lepas itulah Syed Imran Malaysia kata dia digulingkan. Okay.
And collect your gold, redeemable in gold. Then the Indonesian rupiah would have been halal. It's like a check. You can cash the check. Okay? It's redeemable in
Apa ni?
gold.
Penarikan diri Republik Indonesia dari keanggotaan dana tak nampak International Monetary Fund dan Bank International untuk rekonstruksi dan pembangunan International Bank kot. Tak nampak lah. Reconstruction and development, sorry. Okay, maksudnya Pak Sukarno nak Indonesia ni tarik diri daripada IMF. Macam tu. Saya rasa macam tu lah. Okay. Okay, I gain something. Alright, sorry ada dengar bunyi.
Perhaps if that can be done, then that would be a solution to the problem. However, they cannot allow anyone to succeed. Because if one country were to succeed, it will bring down the whole monetary system. So they will wage war to prevent you. That's why they attacked Libya. They wage war to ensure that you do not establish a monetary system in which your money is redeemable in gold and silver. Okay? The Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund prohibit the use of gold as money. Dr. Mahathir was not aware of that. I am not.
Maksudnya IMF memang ada tertakluk lah kepada diorang, memang tak bagi guna emas. Siapa diorang?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Siapa diorang nak tentukan law yang macam tu? Law tu semua bagi untung balik kat diorang je.
A politician. I don't
Politikus.
comment on politics, but when someone does what is right, I declare that he did what is right, and I don't care who is annoyed with me. A scholar of Islam doesn't bow his head before public opinion. Dr. Mahathir was not aware that the International Monetary Fund prohibited the use of gold as money. But Dr. Mahathir was able to recognize, as no one else recognized, that this was wrong. That this was wrong. That you cannot prohibit the use of gold as money. And Dr. Mahathir did what no one else did in the history of this country. Let me remind the Malaysian people, if they need to be reminded.
Yes.
That Dr. Mahathir did what no one else did ever did, and perhaps no one else will ever do. When I met him, I told him that. I said, you're the second one to do it. The first was General Charles de Gaulle. General Charles de Gaulle recognized that this was wrong, this was unjust.
Okay, saya rasa dulu pernah kot Dr. Tun M, Dr. Mahathir, dia cakap dekat OIC kot. OIC ke benda lain? Saya tak ingat, tapi ni lah Persatuan Negara-Negara Islam lah. Dia cakap macam kita kena guna emas. Kita buat trading sesama kita guna emas, sesama negara Islam guna emas. Dia pernah usulkan. Saya pernah tengok video tu. Saya tak ingat OIC ke satuan lain. Okay. Sorry, I'm not that smart.
bringing a new monetary system in the world, and in order for this bogus system to survive, you have to prohibit the use of gold as money. So Charles de Gaulle stood up in the French National Assembly in 1966.
Okay.
That's why the French people love Charles de Gaulle. And he blasted them. In the French National Assembly, he blasted them. And he declared this to be an unjust monetary system that you brought into the world.
Okay.
And so they took out their knives for him. Yeah. And they finished him. And after after Charles de Gaulle, the only other one was Dr. Mahathir. And so this country should be proud of Dr. Mahathir.
Oh, Dr. Mahathir memang genius. Dia adalah benda yang macam tapi dia memang brilliant. Okay. Memang diakui dia memang brilliant. Alright. Kerana dia lah ekonomi Malaysia. Zaman tu ekonomi dunia jatuh. Oh, dia memang.
Because he recognized what no one else recognized. And no one else dares to recognize. They don't have the courage to recognize what he recognized. And tonight I have to give credit where credit is due, regardless of the price I have to pay. At the time when I said that Dr. Mahathir was only the second, I was wrong. I didn't know he was the third.
Okay.
I didn't know that there was one before him.
Siapa?
I didn't know that there was one before Charles de Gaulle. But he's today forgotten. They call him a playboy. Ahmad Sukarno was more than a playboy.
Betul lah.
Ahmad Sukarno was more than a playboy.
Playboy dipanggil.
When Indonesia became independent, Ahmad Sukarno called him the ulama. He had the courage to do it. And he asked him about this money. I'm not a scholar of Islam, you are the scholar. Tell me, how can we have paper as money? How can we have paper as money?
Okay.
And the ulama replied to him and said to him, the paper would be halal only if it is redeemable in gold.
My God. Astaghfirullahalazim. Waktu zaman Pak Sukarno ni, dia macam kumpulkan semua ulama-ulama. Oh, baguslah. Kumpulkan semua ulama. Kemudian tanya, boleh ke kita nak gunakan kertas sebagai mata wang kita kan? Lepas tu ulama-ulama cakap, boleh. Kalau wang kertas tu dapat ditukarkan dengan emas. Tapi masalahnya tadi, IMF ada law cakap tak boleh tukar dengan emas. Nampak tak kat situ? Nampak tak? Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Oh, saya tiba-tiba teringat satu hadis. Di akhir zaman ni, even orang-orang yang beriman di kalangan kamu pun akan terkena juga tempias tu, kan? Memang terkena lah, kan? Kalau dah kata duit kertas tu haram, kita sama ni guna duit kertas. Buka mata, celak. Baby pun dah guna duit kertas, bukan guna emas. Okay, kita sambung Oh, azan. Stop saya azan. Okay, kita sambung.
Meaning you could take the paper and get the gold at a fixed rate. So the paper will be like a check. So Ahmad Sukarno decided that the Indonesian rupiah would be redeemable in gold, and he fixed the rate. But the people who want to rule the world, they had made that haram. In the Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund. So they had to launch a coup, get rid of Sukarno. We said that An alternative could also be where you establish markets in which you use actual gold and silver for buying and selling. And in Hari Raya Haji or Eid al-Adha, you have to buy animals to sacrifice. So I don't know what you use, whether you use ringgit or rupiah or whatever. I use dinar and dirham. Yes, I bought my animal with dinar and dirham. Yeah, and then we had the sacrifice. If we could encourage this is a micro response. Before the war takes place, okay, make sure you have at least 100 dirhams at home.
Tak ada.
Maybe 2 dirhams a day for food. 2 dirhams a day, depending on the size of your family. So at least for 50 days you have food. Make sure you have at least 100 dirhams at home. And if you can have some dinars as well, alhamdulillah, that's even better. Okay? This is another response that you have. Finally, we said that one of the prophecies of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is that in the end time, the earth will vomit from its liver columns of gold and silver. The likelihood is that this will take place in Indonesia. Yeah, because
What? Okay,
of the volcanoes of Indonesia, they call a ring of fire. And these volcanoes are all already producing gold in Java, okay? When that gold comes into the world, that gold can then be used to fight the monetary system. Yeah. I think that's enough for today. May Allah take these words all over the world of Islam, and may Allah take these words also to our brothers and sisters all over the Orthodox Christian world, because we are one family. You and us, we are one family. And that we may now wage the struggle to restore the Khilafah state somewhere on Allah's earth. The Khilafah state being defined as a state in which Allah's law is supreme. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين.
Amin. Okay. Bab yang dia cakap pasal emas tu kan, yang boleh bumi akan memuntahkan emas kan, dan mungkin di Indonesia kan, part tu memang naik bulu meremang bulu roma. Kalau Indonesia panggil merinding. Okay, ini benda baru, saya dapat sesuatu hari ni, alhamdulillah. Harap korang pun dapat sesuatu juga. Okay, so saya speechless, saya tak tahu nak cakap apa. So Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, Singapura, Thailand, semua negara-negara ni negara-negara berjiran dan ada orang Islam di dalamnya. Dan semoga kita ni bersatu padu, dan insyaAllah kalau kita bersatu, tak bergaduh, kita boleh jadi kuat. Okay, kita memang dah akhir zaman. Banyak-banyak muhasabah diri, banyak-banyak perbetul balik apa yang salah, tinggalkan yang Allah larang dan lakukan apa yang Allah suruh. Sama-sama kita menasihati sesama kita. InsyaAllah semoga Islam akan tertegak suatu hari nanti, InsyaAllah. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Okay, jika korang suka dengan video ni, jangan lupa tekan butang like dan komen kat bawah. Okay, dan jangan lupa subscribe juga. Okay, jumpa di video yang seterusnya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.